Hey everybody, how's it going? So there's been a lot of debate online about the 500 series of studio gear and if it's any good or not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 10 of my reasons why 500 series gear is just plain better. Number 1, it's like Pokemon for audio engineers. The 500 series is a modular standard and just about everybody makes gear for it. Of course, there's preamps, EQs, and compressors, but there's also reverb, delay, reamp boxes, and even tape emulators. Solid state or tube-based, you can find it in the 500 series. Now, the price per module can range anywhere from $150 for a Neve 1073 clone from China to a $15,000 single-channel preamp from Midas. Now, for the record, anybody who spends that kind of money on a single mic preamp should probably be locked up in a rubber room, have his money taken away, and have it redistributed to feeding the homeless where it'll actually do some fucking good. If you drop 15 grand on a mic preamp, fuck you, you self-centered piece of human excrement. But you can get some seriously great stuff for just around $1,000 per channel. And these aren't just clones either. This is the real stuff from legendary brands like Neve and API. And let's be clear here, these aren't plugins that sound just like the real thing. They are the real thing. Modules can be run together, so custom channel strips can be created, and combinations are only limited by your imagination. Plus, there's a certain collectability factor where you just want to catch them all. Number 2, you can use your gear as plugins. 500 series gear has been around for years, but this year I discovered something new. I bumped into the Cranborne guys at NAMM and they were very excited to show off their new toy. It's an 8-slot 500 series rack with Adat ins and outs. Now you can hook directly into your existing system. Let's say you're running on RME, a Focusrite, UAD, or an Audio. Suddenly, all those ADAT ins and outs on the back of your interface just became an 8-channel pathway to some seriously badass analog gear. You can now use your 500 series EQs and compressors just like you would use a plugin. Now, I've been working with the Cranborne for the last 2 weeks, and I've just been shaking my head wondering why somebody didn't do this sooner. It's so fucking obvious, and the convenience factor is just unbelievable, as you won't be taking up additional rack space for extra converters, and you can keep your analog I/O on your main interface free for the traditional and not nearly as cool rack gear.
$14.99? $14.99 for the ADAT, $16.99 for the USB version.
Only $16.99.
Number 3, it doubles as an audio interface. If you don't have a serious recording interface yet and you're looking to step up your game so you can handle multiple inputs and outputs, Cranborne came up with a pretty smart idea. Build the interface right into the 500 series rack. Hook it up to your computer via USB and bam, you're in business. Just plug it in on your Mac and it works. And they have custom drivers built for Windows as well. You can even link several of these together via the proprietary CAST system, which uses Cat5 network cable. It's so simple, even a bass player could do it. All right, maybe not the bass players, but you're certainly smart enough to figure it out. Number 4, space saving. This takes up 4 rack spaces, gives me 8 channels plus analog summing and digital connections. These take up 4 rack spaces and give me 2 preamps and 2 compressors with no digital connections or analog summing. If space is tight, you can definitely jam a lot more capability into the 500 series than you can with a traditional rack system. Number 5, analog summing. I think it's pretty clever to add analog summing onto a 500 series rack, especially if you already have a digital connection to it. Send 4 stereo stems out via light pipe, run them through your outboard into the summing mixer, and then back in. Getting real touch feedback on a volume knob is something I missed more than I realized. Just being able to tweak and listen with your ears as opposed to using a mouse to move an icon on a screen, it's pretty fucking awesome. Number 6, cost per channel comes down. A single Cranborne Camden preamp costs $349. The standalone EC2 with 2 of the exact same preamps in a rack costs $1,200. If you wanted 8 channels of Camdens, the total cost with the 500 ADAT rack would be $42.91. If you purchased 8 channels and 4 EC2 units, it would be $4,800. And that is with no ADAT connection or analog summing. Ultimately, you save money, you get more capability, and you can load up your rack with exactly what you want. Number 7, bring them to another studio. This part's really cool. You can simply pull your favorite modules from your rack and bring them to a session at another studio. If they've got free slots, your modules are going to work in there. If you're a mix engineer on the go, bringing a couple of modules along can be a really big help and add a bit of your own flavor to a different mix environment. Number 8, it really pisses off the fart huffers on gear sluts. If you want to read through page after page of expert opinions on why regular rack gear is superior to the 500 series, head on over to gearsluts.com and that's exactly what you'll get. Endless pages of expert opinion on why their preferred gear is superior. Now let me emphasize that. Endless opinions. With very few sound examples and even fewer shootouts for that matter. Just listen to all those records on the radio being ruined by inferior 500 gear. But hey, opinions from experts. Now what do I think? Well, I'm narrating this video through a Camden preamp with the thump mojo engaged and then going into an IGS Alter 500 compressor. My voiceover has never sounded better, but what do I know? I'm not an expert. Hell, I'm not even a professional. I'm just some guy working out of a converted garage who's never even had a hit record. What the hell can I possibly know? Number 9, you can get cheap power supplies. Now I can't say if these are any good, but Midas does have a 10-space rack going for only $298, but I have read some pretty mixed reviews on it. Where? Why? On Gear Sluts, of course, because I needed expert opinions. Apparently, mic preamps can pick up quite a bit of noise from the Midas's power supply. In any case, the new 8-slot chassis I've got from Cranborne has been dead silent and is far more practical than the Midas could ever be, thanks to those amazing Adat connections and the built-in analog to digital converters. Are they worth the investment? Well, you want something that works or you want something that adds noise? Now, if you don't mind dicking around for hours on end cleaning up noisy tracks, then go get the Midas. If you want to get shit done, get the Cranborne. Number 10. They just look cool. Nothing wows potential clients like a rack full of 500 series gear with a whole bunch of pretty LEDs doing stuff. Now the clients might not know exactly what it does, but it sure makes you, the guy trying to sell studio time, look like you know what the fuck you're doing. Hopefully the mixes coming out of your speakers are just as impressive as your gear. And if they're not, here's an easy fix. Just replace everything with drum samples.